Hello again, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about one of these specific types of formal letters, the letter of application. Now, this lesson will be very useful for you in the event that you are required to write a letter of application on the exam that you will be taking, or if you ever decide to apply for a position in an international company or university. And both of these organizations will require both a resume or CV, depending on if the company is internet or is European or American, and a cover letter or letter of application written in English. And this letter will play a large part in determining whether or not you get the job or get the position. And it will depend on the grammar and the spelling that you use, as well as some of the specific vocabulary that you can use to make yourself seem like a more attractive candidate. Now today, we're going to divide our discussion into the following parts. First, we're going to talk about the purpose of writing a letter of application. Why do we even need to do this? Next, we'll be discussing the business format of letters, followed by an analysis of the structure of a letter of application, namely the introduction, the main body, the conclusion, and the closure of the letter. How do we end everything? And we will end with an analysis of the language that we should use in our letters. Basically, what we call positive skill words. First, what is the purpose of writing a letter of application? Well, a letter of application is the letter that will accompany your CV or your resume in any kind of job application with a prospective employer. So this means that the purpose of writing your letter of introduction is as follows. First, you need to introduce yourself to an organization, and also to demonstrate your interest and motivation in this position and in the company, as well as to draw the attention of the employer to your personality and to persuade him or her to invite you to an interview. Now, casually, we say that the point of the letter of application is to fill in the gaps left by your resume or by your CV. Here, this is your chance to explain all those little things you want to in your CV, but you don't have room for, or you just can't fit in. And this is the chance to really let your employer or your prospective employer know who you are as a person. So now we need to decide on the style or the format of our letter. Now, first, the style of an application letter is formal, and this is one of the most formal letters you can write. So you need to make absolutely sure to use all of the appropriate language in this. Now, for format, there are two formats that are widely used to write letters of application. One, what we call block style, which many people prefer, or the second, what we call indented style. So let's look at some examples of application letters. All the information in a block style letter is written flush left. That means no paragraphs are indented. And there is a line between each paragraph that should be skipped. A block-style letter more cleanly separates each one of your points and each one of your paragraphs. And some people think it makes it easier to find the information contained therein. In a letter of the indented type, the address is placed in the right corner of the sheet. The date will be posted below your address before the line is skipped. The greeting to your employer and the address of your employer will be flushed left. However, all of the paragraphs will be indented. Now, let's move on to the structure of the letter of application. It's the same as a formal letter, and it has the following components. First, we have the subject of a letter. Write the abbreviation RE with a colon after it, and that colon is crucial, with a colon after it, and state the position title and the position reference number if it is available. For example, RE News Editor position number 100 or RE Trade Agent. And to open our letter, as we previously discussed, we can use the following forms. Dear Mr. Wilson, Dear Miss Wilson, Dear Mrs. Wilson, Dear Miss Wilson. But if at all possible, try to avoid phrases like Dear Sir or Madam, or Dear Hiring Manager. If it is possible, it is much better to find the name of the person that you are writing to. So these should only be used as a last resort. Now, let's start writing a letter of application together so that you can see more clearly how all of this works. Right now, we have the following opening. English Content Editor. Dear Miss Brighton. Now, let's go on to the main body since we have our introduction. And remember, the main body fills in the gaps of your CV. So in the opening paragraph, we're going to explain who we are, why we're writing, where we found the job. Now, in our second paragraph, we're going to move on to explain about why we are the best candidate for the position, writing about our education and our work experience and how the company will benefit from hiring us instead of some other guy. And in the third paragraph, we're going to provide a short summary of personal strengths, qualities, and experience. Now, all of that theory is well and good, but let's do this together. Let's write the main body of our letter together so that you can see more clearly how all of this works. And for our letter, we've chosen the intended style of writing, which means that we will have clean separations between our paragraphs and we will not indent the first line of each paragraph. So, let's take a look. With great enthusiasm, I am writing to apply for the above position as advertised on the website career.com. I would welcome the opportunity to work in such a dynamic and multicultural company. My employment background includes valuable experience of working in the quality newspaper The Echo in Cardiff, where I had lived for a long time before moving to Hong Kong. Among my responsibilities were writing numerous creative articles on cultural and educational topics, checking manuscripts, and proofreading the column Traveling and Tourism. I was handling a team of 10 members and gained the experience of working as part of a team, the common task of which was to reach a set goal under the pressure of deadline or to think out creative ways to complete the task even when there were no obvious solutions available. Here I'm explaining my work experience. What did I do in the past, and why does it make me good? Next, I completed my education with an MA in Journalism and Mass Communication at Cardiff University. Being quite an ambitious and enterprising person, I'm inclined to improve my skills and knowledge in the journalism sphere all the time. Therefore, I completed the online course for the Certificate in Creative Book Publishing, as well as received a George Brown's College's Certificate in Editing. Here, I've explained my education and why my education also makes me suitable. If you notice, I've also expressed a desire to keep improving myself and to keep learning. This looks very, very attractive to employers, and it's something that you should include. With great experience in editing and such qualities like dedication, resourcefulness, and flexibility, I would step in and make important contributions to your company. Now that's it. That last paragraph is just explaining why I'm a good employee. What personal attributes about me make me suitable, more suitable than the other guy. Now that's it with the main body. And it's time for us now to move on to writing our conclusion. Now, the conclusion of a letter of application is incredibly important. Here, I will not say that any part of this letter is more important than any other part, because they are all critical. But the conclusion is where you'll perform a number of tasks which will be necessary if you want to be interviewed. First, in the conclusion, you should show your appreciation of the possibility for an interview. Thank them for the potential opportunity. Even thank them for their time reading the email. This sounds very, very polite, and it's very pleasing when people read this. Next, mention your attached CV. They may not notice that there is a CV attached, and, well, even if they do notice, it looks very professional to see something like attached is my CV. Again, nothing complicated here. Just mention that your resume is with the letter. Finally, express the request to contact you at the given email address or phone number. Here, you are providing them your contact information, and you are providing them the information that you are very, very willing, even excited to accept their contact. So, in our case, the conclusion of our letter would look something like this. Please refer to my CV attached, and do not hesitate to contact me at 0430-5674-4756 for any further information and or to invite me for an interview. Now, that's it. That's our conclusion, but we still have one thing left to do, and that is close our letter. Now, I hope you remember from previous lessons that we have the following ways to close a letter. If we opened our letter with Dear Mr. or Miss or Mrs., we should close our letter with Yours sincerely or respectfully. If we opened our letter with something like Dear Sir or Madam, or even something like Dear Hiring Manager, you should end the letter with Yours faithfully. Now, because we, in our letter, opened with Dear Miss Brighton, that means that we should close with respectfully or Yours sincerely. And remember to include a little bit of space between Yours sincerely and your name to include your signature. Now, our letter is ready. If you were attentive and you concentrated while writing it, you can decide on which of the job ads you can find attached to the materials of the lesson fits it best. Good luck. Now, the last thing that I'm going to talk about today is going to be the language that you should use in your letter of application. Because because the point of a letter of application is to introduce ourselves, as well as to describe our capabilities to employers. We need to use the correct language to do this, and for this purpose, not all language is created equal. There are some words that look very, very good to employers, and look very, very good to use in applications. So let's examine a few of these. First, the word attentive. Pays attention to details. Confident. I think you know that one already. Conscientious. Aware of other people's feelings. Competent. Can perform the tasks that they are required to perform. And consistent. Does something the same way every time. Cooperative, another phrase, meaning works well with a team. Also determined, doesn't give up. Diligent, hard-working, or even enterprising. Has new ideas fairly often, likes to create things. Also, if you're someone with a lot of energy and excitement to do your job, you can call yourself enthusiastic. And another phrase that looks very, very good, flexible, is able to handle change very well. Also hard-working, the same as diligent. Motivated, wants to do well at their job. Organized, I think you know this one, and I think most of us try to be this one. And persistent, doesn't give up. Other phrases you can use, such as reliable, show you that, or show your employer that you are someone that can be depended on. Also, responsible. You can be trusted with responsibilities. Skillful. You are very good at what you do. Trustworthy. You are honest. You can be trusted. And this could be very important for jobs where sensitive information is handled. Also, team player. Works well with others. Works well in a team. And finally, versatile. You can handle a lot of different tasks very, very well. We also have specific action words that are very, very good to use when we are explaining, particularly about our jobs and our education, and these action words show different traits of ours. For example, to show that I am an analytical person, or to demonstrate my analytical abilities, I can use words like ascertain, analyze, conceptualize, determine, conclude, research, scrutinize, or project. Now, for communication, I can use words like convince, inform, explain, edit, summarize, or even clarify. Here, I'm not just saying something like say or tell. I'm using words that provide more detail. I'm using words that describe exactly what I am doing. For example, if I clarify something, I don't just tell you that the sky is blue. I explain to you that the sky is blue if you were a little bit unsure before. To show our creativity, we can use words like design, illustrate, brainstorm, visualize. To show leadership, we can use verbs like achieve, act, appoint, adopt, approve, take into consideration. For organization, we can say approve, arrange, implement, maintain, organize, obtain, review. To show teamwork, we can use verbs like adapt, cooperate, collaborate, contribute, and support. And finally, to show our problem-solving abilities, we can use the phrases convince, persuade, fulfill, lighten, supplement. Here, all of these phrases have very, very specific meanings. And if you're unsure about the definitions of any of these, I encourage you to look them up and become very familiar with them, because these make your language both more precise and more convincing in a letter of application. These words are how you write a good letter of application. Now, that's it for today. Review this lesson a few times because these letters are very, very, very important. And try writing your own letters of application. Again, the easiest way to get better at writing is to write, and to write a lot and to write often. So practice, 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 practice. And it may also be helpful for you to compare this letter to the previous letter of complaint that we wrote earlier, so that you can see the differences in vocabulary and in sentence structure that are used, as well as the differences in format and how the letter itself is laid out. And also be sure to learn the words, all of these positive action adjectives and positive action words that we have discussed previously. So, review everything, know it, because this stuff is important. I'll see you in the next lesson.